Hey guys, this week I'm going to show you how I made this figurine. Stick around. Hello and welcome to this week's edition of BS with AJ. As I said before, this week I'm going to be showing you how I made this figurine. I was just kind of playing around on the lathe and decided to just make something completely different than I normally do, which turned out actually pretty neat looking. But this was actually made out of a piece of hickory I cut down quite a while ago, and it's been driving for probably a little over a year now. So anyway, it had a bunch of wormholes and stuff through it. Here's a pretty big one right here. I don't know how well you can see that from the distance I'm at right here. But it actually ended up looking pretty good. I ended up doing the hat separate because I couldn't get the piece to do that much of an offset on the lathe. But anyway, before we get into that, if you like videos like this, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and consider supporting BS with AJ on Patreon so we can do bigger and better projects for you guys. Let's get started. Alright guys, we got a piece of hickory here. It's been drying for about a year now, so it's still probably going to be a little bit green, but not real green. It does still have the bark on it. I'm going to try and leave it on part of this here. But basically we're going to be turning a little figurine. I've never done anything like this before, but we're going to give it a shot. See how it turns out. Let's get started. Alright guys, so I've got the part made here that I'm going to say is the part of the dress right here. And so I'm thinking what I'm going to do now, I went ahead and sanded it a little bit, just real lightly. No, it does have some wormholes through here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that yet. I may fill them in, I may dig them out and leave them alone. I'm not for sure just yet. But the next step that I want to do here is, if you see this is kind of at an angle here, I'm going to turn this, I'm going to do an offset a little bit, and I'm going to try and basically get this line right here, that angle, I'm going to try and get it a lot straighter. And that's going to be what's going to be like the bottom of the dress, I guess. So I want to make sure and leave a good 1/4 to a 1/2 inch or something like that. We'll see how it looks whenever I start working on it. But yeah, after we do that part, we may leave it the same angle to do the body and the head, and we may do a different angle. I'm not 100% sure just yet. I'm kind of making it up as I'm going along here. So bear with me. Alright guys, well here's our final product right here. We're going to go ahead and cut this off real quick. I don't want to run the lathe and try to part it off because it's so off-centered, and this is just kind of held on with CA glue. And the finish I put on there as well. That's probably help holding it on as well. But it's not held on like super securely, so I'm not going to trust that. So I'm just going to take my push saw. Alright guys, well here's our final product. As you see here, I did leave the live edge down here on the bottom, some of that bark here, and that way it looks kind of like the bottom of the dress. Ended up doing the hat separate as I showed you, and I glued it on with some CA glue, and then I went ahead and put the finish all over the whole thing. That way it's held on really well. Ended up using polyurethane for a finish here, and it took quite a while for it to dry, of course. It's not as shiny as I would like it to be, but it don't look too bad. Well, like a semi-gloss, I guess. But that's alright. I did go ahead and clean out this one wormhole here, and I think that looks pretty good on the piece. There were several other ones over here on the side that were still full of sawdust. I decided to go ahead and leave them because I wasn't sure how it was going to look once if I cleaned all of them out. But that turned out pretty good. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this week's video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and consider supporting BS with AJ on Patreon so we can do bigger and better projects for you guys. And I'll see you next week. Zoom out. Oop, that's the wrong way.